All right, everyone, it's RemanX here, and we're going to go right into a very, very big warning. Don't bring up anyone to G15. What do you mean? What do you mean, anyone? Anyone! No, I mean, really, the idea is there are a lot of choices here, and there are more than enough traps yet again, and we really don't know what the damage and the actual stats are on these nodes. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to go over is there are a lot of people building guides and recommendations for DD4. And so G15 is just brand new. You're probably not going to see level 80 for quite some time. And here is the big problem. They did it again. And so we're going to look at some characters that are obviously built as traps. Oh, look, there's one. Now, I had a 7 red star Sabretooth back when G14 first came out. And I was very excited because he took so few uniques to get done. So the idea was, all I had to do was pop that gear on him, and he was ready to go. And realistically, I used him 0. Maybe he was a sacrificial lamb on a node. Maybe he was a sack, just to chase out an ult. But realistically, he did nothing for me except slow down my initial progress to get in there. And the biggest mistake of them all was the shield trooper. And if you guys aren't looking, it is shaping up to be the exact same problem. So what we don't know is if they've tuned Dark Dimension 4 to be as frustrating as Dark Dimension 3 was. And so maybe these characters have value, but maybe you shouldn't think about it from what's the cheapest. Maybe you want to think about it from what's the best. So there are a couple different options. There's probably a cheap way for the units that are going to take the least amount of resources. There is a value way that's somewhere in the middle, and then there's the best characters, the ones that are going to progress and get you the best options. And so I try to get you dial that down from the best towards the value characters, and that's one of the reasons why I tend to wait for others to get it done, just because I sacrifice so much of my resources. Now remember, I'm going to be doing the PIM team. I'm going to be taking that PIM team all the way up here. I'm going to be doing symbiotes. So I should have city and global based on what they've sold us to get that done for Dark Dimension 4. And a lot of people are doing the same. The folks that are pushing in there, the ones that have already reached level 80, have already started building these characters up with the hope that they'll have some impact. And here's the thing. It's not even open. And even if we can see the nodes, we won't know how much damage they're doing until you can actually see the actual the stats when you get into the node. Because remember, Namor with 57,000 damage, doing his ult and erasing your entire team is something that you should leave in your mind before you take these characters up. So realistically, I think it's probably safe to consider some characters, but what you want to do is you want to start stockpiling the resources. The idea is, even though I can equip this character, Carnage is probably going to be a centerpiece for that, I'm not going to bother, just in case something else is sold to us or provided to us, or we find that he is being chased out of there because of the damage that's being done, or there's some mechanic that changes. So the idea is, if you build these characters up and then you can hit equip when you're ready to, that's the most important thing. So a couple of traps to avoid, okay? Don't click on gear as you get enough pieces for it. You want to try to at once you're ready to start equipping characters. Equip a character one at a time. Get all the resources ready, because we don't know. I mean, it could open up the end of the month here. It could open up tomorrow. It could open up in December. But realistically, you don't have to be the first one through it. And the more mistakes you make with characters who don't have a lot of value, the slower that'll become. And this will probably be a meta-changing character. You will probably see him in Arena. You will probably see him in War. Think about Ultron's impact when you got Ultron. But the difference here is there's no Minerva to make DD4 as easy as DD2 became when you got Minerva. So take that into account. Remember, I think it's going to be a long grind. I don't think the nodes are going to be designed to be just strolled through. With the fact that you have to take 4 characters into each node, that should make you sit back and plan these characters. So we're building a planning tool. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be out there. The concern I have with the planning tool is I don't have enough information on what characters you should bring. I mean, we're theory crafting the legendary nodes now. We're theory crafting what global looks like. And by the way, surprise, surprise, Elsa's on there, and that'll make you pay every single time you evade. Good luck, BIM Squad. You guys just got owned by evade. But that's the idea here is I think it's going to be a long process anyway. And, you know, we are probably, most of us will probably see another team get released in the meantime before we even start our progress through there. So probably a good idea is at whatever you can personally afford, start buying the G15 uniques, these ultra uniques that are appearing in your shops. Stockpile them, and when you're ready to pull the trigger, you'll have enough to hopefully bring up teams. Again, definitely do not bring up pieces of gear on characters just for stat bonuses. In fact, I'd even be careful with some of the purple gear. And the reason being is, yes, some of these characters have purple slots over here. I did it. And I thought, again, and maybe because I have a lot of these. But there's always the possibility, the fact that they just flexed out that X-Men tag, that we might be getting more mutants. So it's something that I want you guys to understand. I do things so you don't have to. These mistakes are things that I continuously make with my roster, and I get absolutely frustrated. You're talking about a ton of resources. So let's give you an idea. So right now, in your supply shop, you can currently get the G15 gear in your gold store. I've seen it in up to 3 different slots here. I'm sure that actually can be in more. So we're actually going to start asking for those screenshots on Discord. You guys can join that in the comments. If you guys want to give us pictures, we're just curious about how many of these they can occupy all at once. Next thing is the War Store. So the War Store is actually going to provide you with a different option. There's a couple, it looks like a slot right there that's always going to be there. So I've been buying those relatively frequently. And the other thing is the orbs here, your War Orbs. So the Orange Gear War Orb 2. And again, we probably talked about this. If you're concerned about which one of these orbs to open, if you're still doing DD3 or need G13 gear, or some of the mini uniques for gearing up your G15, you're going to be opening these. And then the Orange Gear War Orb 2 is if you've already satisfied that you beat DD3 and you saved a ton of resources, you know, knowing that Dark Dimension 4 was coming. That's the big difference. So realistically here, I'll tell you that it's an individual decision. Sometimes it might be better to open the Orange Gear War Orb 1. Maybe a new character comes out that you want to, you're going to be using in War or Arena. For the most part, you're probably not having that. So my recommendation is to simply hold off, start using these, and then, you know, if you'll, you know, there will be a guide where you'll be able to click on characters and decide based on their resources which ones you're going to bring in. So that being said, all of that aside, I know some of you guys have favorite characters, and if you guys love a character or love a team and you want to bring it up to G15 just cause, that's okay. Just know that you're gonna be holding yourself back from progress for DD4. And if you don't care, that's also okay. So you're gonna do what's right for you and your play style. I'm just trying to give you guys the best foot forward with the fact that I think it'll be frustrating when we start seeing, thousands of players with Dr. Doom in their roster, and you don't have an easy solution for it. So, all right, guys, that's RemanX. Remember, I do things so you guys don't have to. You're going to see some crazy G15s, some that I guarantee probably won't work out, but hopefully we can establish some base value, maybe some 3-piece combos instead of these full PIM teams that can give you guys some value. Ghost is coming out soon, so we'll be doing some special events coming around the corner here. So I'll check you guys soon. See you guys over on Twitch. And remember, don't equip anything. Till next time.